Hey guys, and welcome back to another book video with your two favorite book nerds, Amy
and Kelly.
And today we are ranking Riley Sager books. Since Riley Sager has kind of become the new, top horror novelist of our time, I guess. Supposedly. You know,
he is certainly hyped. That is for sure.
Definitely hyped. So we thought it would be fun. Well, I thought it would be fun to force Kelly to do it.
I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, so we read every single one of Riley Sager's books. There's seven of them. I should know that because I was counting down how many I had left.
Yeah, me too.
And now we're gonna go through, give our thoughts. Pretty like skimming the surface, I guess. We're not going to get into any detail with them.
No details, no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. And we're going to give our final rankings, which we found out that we disagree on where we rank all the books at.
We do. But it'll be interesting to see why.
Yeah.
See why that is. So I think we have the same, general feeling overall. But, yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so do you want to start with, should we go least favorite to favorite?
Sure. Okay.
Alright. Least favorite. So, yeah, our first disagreement of the video.
Yeah. And fairly different, because as you'll see, we have these in almost opposite order.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Pretty much.
Okay, so quickly, why was it your least favorite?
It was boring. It was boring AF. I did not care for it at all. I don't know. I was just the whole time just we're just doing the same thing. There's nothing happening, and we're at a camp, and I'm just I was hoping for some really good campy vibes. I wasn't feeling anything, and I didn't really care.
There you go.
That's just where I was at. Just and when the big reveal came, the last time I lied, I thought it was so dumb. I'm sorry, but it's just we waited the whole book for that to be the last time I lied.
Yeah.
No. No, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this was my least favorite because I just thought it was a mess of a book. It kept jumping back and forth in time, which he does that in a couple other books, but he does it better in the other books, way better. There was no cohesive storyline. There was no actual mystery to follow. It was just random stuff kept being thrown at you, and in the end, the villain, totally out of the blue. I mean, the story does not support it at all. And so to me, if you're gonna eeny meeny miny moe your villain, it could be anybody. Who cares? And so why should I care, and why should I be surprised by it? So
that's fair.
That was it. That was why this one was my least favorite. He has that problem in a couple other books, but on top of the mess that this story was, that was just it for me. So, plus the main character in this book, wow. Okay.
I mean, you make some fair points.
Yeah,
I'll let it slide.
So do you, even though, that one hit me different. Yeah.
Next up in our list.
We agree with this one.
Latest release. Yeah, we're in agreement.
This is the latest one?
I'm pretty sure this is his newest
I thought
book.
The House Across the Lake was the newest one.
I'm pretty sure this is the newest one.
I don't know. Well, I'll be darned. Look at that.
I was gonna say, I bought this at Barnes & Noble, so this is new.
Okay, cool. And total mess of a book.
Total mess. And also the ending of it, literally, it was just I was watching one of those daytime soap operas.
Oh yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was just so outlandish. Everything that was happening is just oh, this person is related to this person. It's
and it was
really
chaos.
It was total chaos, and
just
I absolutely
chaos.
hated it. By the last 50 pages of the book, I was so over reading it at that point. I didn't care.
No, I didn't either.
It
didn't take me that long to not care anymore.
Well,
and once again, the main character. And once again, there was no main thing to focus on.
Right.
There was so much going on, it was just total chaos. And the much going on, none of it was any good.
No.
And the epilogue.
Oh, I don't even think I read the epilogue, to be honest with you.
Oh my gosh. So stupid. So dumb.
I didn't have an epilogue in my book.
Oh, really?
Uh-uh.
Maybe I thought it was the epilogue. I listened to this on an audiobook.
I think this was just the letter that she wrote.
Oh, yeah. That was sorry.
just part of
last
the book.
chapter. Not the epilogue, last chapter.
Yeah. Terrible.
Terrible. So bad. So didn't matter. It was like this huge info dump at the end. It was dumb.
This was just overboard.
But it wasn't. Yeah, I mean.
It was like he was trying to throw every single twist that he's ever thought of into one book.
Yes. And he did that in another one, too. I don't mind dramatic twists or dramatic turns. It's drama. Like melodrama. Like you said, a soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally, especially that end. And I think people like that. Some people like that.
Yeah, not me though. I'm sorry.
But his writing in general is very angsty, drama, and oh my gosh. If you like that sort of thing, listen to the audiobooks. You'll really love them. I don't, and the audiobooks were so bad. I'm sorry. They were.
Yeah, I definitely think these are better physically read books
Yeah.
than listened to.
Unless you do like that kind of, it honestly reminded me of like old radio dramas.
Okay.
Where they're so over the top with their voice because you can't see them. That's what it reminded me of. But I can't remember which one it was. Bless you.
Thank you.
It was I think it was the only one left. There was two different narrators. A younger woman for the main character and an older woman.
That would make sense because...
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so both of them, though, did voices. So, like, whenever they would do a man, they literally did the whole, like, this.
Okay.
It was so, oh my gosh, it was so cringy. Yeah, it was bad. That may have contributed to some of my dislike
Yeah.
of the book.
I could definitely see that. Like, audiobooks, so much hinges on the narrator.
It does.
Like, so much.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, there's other reasons why I don't listen to audiobooks, but that is one thing. It's like, you have to find a good audiobook or else it's going to completely ruin your reading experience.
And these, what was the other one I listened? I don't remember which one I listened to. I'll remember when we get to it. But it was, I think it was Survive the Night. But, like, in the regular narrating, it's just like this normal voice, and it's fine. And then, like I said, they would do other character voices, and they would try and do a different voice. But even when they're doing the main characters' dialogue, they would change, and it would be like this. And I gasped. And I was like, seriously? Like, a female lead in, like, a vaudeville melodrama. It was...
Oh, yikes.
Okay, I said I wasn't going to rant, and here I am. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, still just a mess of a book. Still just a mess. So, yeah.
Alright.
Okay, ready?
Next up. Another disagreement.
Another one.
Yeah. Okay.
Just slightly, though.
yeah.
Not too
These
far.
two kind of just flip-flop.
Too far off.
Well,
yeah.
almost flip-flop for us, but...
Okay.
Okay. This one was okay for me up until the twists that came. And then he completely lost me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where... Because it was just
Absolutely agree.
Like, I have no issue with there being... with paranormal things in books. I love it, obviously. Spooky girl, spooky season, that's my thing. But this one was just too much of a reach, even for me, to get behind. And it was just weird.
And the
Like,
story
just-
did not support it.
No, it didn't. That was the other thing. It's like, this makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's literally just thrown in there.
Yes, exactly. And without being spoilery, so this probably won't make much sense, but the main character should have acted differently in the beginning with that. And also with other knowledge that came later in the book. She should have acted differently in the beginning.
Yeah. There were a lot of things that just made me question.
Really inconsistent.
Yes. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, yeah.
Okay, so the only reason I agree with all of that, actually. But this actually was lower for me because, again, it was boring, first of all. I mean, my biggest problem is it's a road trip. It's a road trip story, basically. It had weird points of view shifts. Like, it would just randomly throw in chapters from other people. And when it did that, he was trying so hard to cover up the role that those people were playing in the story that it ended up making no sense because he was trying too hard to cover them up. I'm thinking one in particular, the older woman.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So there's a point of view from her where she's just like, I can't spoil it, I'm sorry. The end, when she comes in towards the end, what it is, her role in the story is not at all supported by the chapter of her point of view earlier. That's one of them. And there's like 4 different times this happens with 4 different characters. And every single time, that character's chapter did not support their role later on. And it drove me nuts. This is very much a gaslighting story. Mm-hmm. And I don't like gaslighting stories. I don't like them. So, but still, personal aside, it was not a good gaslighting story. Because the main character would be gaslighted, and then she'd figure it out. And then, instead of being suspicious from then on, she'd get gaslighted again. And then she'd figure it out. Is she suspicious at that point? No, she is not. She gets gaslighted again. And it's like, wow, sis. And she never did anything to prevent it. Never. You know, you think the first time you've been gaslighted, in her case, I don't think it's a spoiler, no, to say it's her memory. Wouldn't she think she would take steps to, like, make herself little notes?
Right.
Or something like that.
Right.
She never did a thing. So that drove me nuts. And again, the villain at the end was an eeny, meeny, miny, mo villain.
Yeah.
There was absolutely nothing to support it in throughout the story, period. It was an eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing. And I listened to this again, so I don't know if it's an epilogue or the just last chapter. Probably just last chapter. I hated it. I hated it. And I can't say why without being spoilery, but I hated it. I can't. I wish I could say why. I can't. Okay. I hated it.
All right.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 4
Mm-hmm.
on the least favorite count of the countdown. That would be what? 7, 6, number 4. Like the middle.
Yep. Here's our middle books.
This is the middle book. Wow.
Okay. I agree with what you said about this one. How it was all kind of thrown together, hard to follow at times and stuff like that. However, I did love the ghost story. Of course. I don't know. Growing up in a haunted house, always wanted to write a book about a haunted house. This book spoke to me because it's like, this is me. This is what I want. And I'm just like super excited for this. So I really did enjoy this book a lot, even though it was kind of just thrown together at places. I will agree with that. And there were certain parts where I was just like, you know, that face that you're just like, I don't know if I'm following this, but I enjoyed the ghost story part of it and all. The haunted house, that is what really did it for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
It was enough to kind of make me overlook the bad parts of the book.
Yeah.
Because I just really enjoyed the idea and the concept of it.
Yeah, and I just remember this book a little bit more because they all start to run together after a little bit. When you read all 7 of them in a row.
Don't recommend that.
But the one twist at the end where the mom came back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that was the one. That was another reason this was lower for me, because the way her parents acted. And that letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I did like the ghost story too.
Yeah. I thought that the ghost
Yeah.
story itself was done pretty well. And
And
I did kind of enjoy the book within a book.
Yes.
This one was done a lot better than other like book within a books that I've read from.
Yeah, I did. That was good too. Yeah, that was really interesting because it was interesting to see how reality followed the book in the book.
Right.
Like, and so that was kind of neat.
Yeah, I don't know. And I really like too how she actually, I'm not, that's spoilers. Okay, never mind. Well, I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, so this one was a little, you had this one lower than me, right? Yeah.
It was just one low.
I agree with everything you said about this book, especially that supernatural. And I think I did. I probably, in agreeing with you and adding to what you were saying at the time, I probably have covered why I didn't like this book. But what I did like about this book and why it got a little bit higher for me was this was another one where it was present day chapters and then past chapters till the point where they met. And I thought he got me on those present day chapters. He got me on that one. He really did. And when I found out what it really was, I was not upset by it. I really was not. If you can buy into the supernatural element.
Yeah.
You have to buy into that in order.
And
I think I'm starting to spoil things now. So I probably should shut up.
It's just, it's not a normal supernatural
It's not.
one. So
it isn't.
You have to go into it very open-minded.
And I will say, I think the supernatural element is interesting.
Yes.
But it had to be supported earlier. It cannot have come out of the blue the way it did.
Right. Agreed.
This is one that did not give me twist fatigue.
Yeah.
That's like fair. The only one left. 1 week, yeah. I mean, you at some point you have to say enough's enough because you go one more and it's one too many.
Yeah, and
it's
went
like
one too many with.
Oh, he went about 3 too many.
The only one left was pretty much.
He went about 3 too many on that one. And the last one,
the only twist left. When I was reading it.
The last one wasn't even a twist. I mean, if you read with half an eye open, you knew what it was. It was not. And okay, I'm gonna spoil it if I keep going. We're done with that. I also got that with this one. The whole twist fatigue with that one. Okay. This one did not give me that. It was pretty straightforward at the ends. Although once again, I think I keep calling them epilogues, but they're not epilogues because he doesn't even really do like chapter names. He like does then, now, before, kind of thing. I didn't like the very end chapter. No. I think he could really stop with those their wrap-up chapters, like kind of like the day after kind of chapters.
Right.
And he could really like not do that because especially this one and Survive the Night were bad. Really bad. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 3. The biggest disagreement of the entire stack.
Pretty much. I think they're pretty much just flip-flopped.
Yep.
For us, so.
Yeah.
I think I said that the first time we brought these books out.
Yeah.
Talk about repetition.
Alright, well, I really enjoyed this book just because I was emotionally invested in this book. I was yelling at the main character. I felt some tension when she was in the car with the other main character of the book. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I'm just like, oh, this is a road trip story. I like road trip stories. And it's just like, what is she gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen? And I don't know, I was just like getting so mad at her and her memory, and just like I was just emotionally invested.
Well,
and it just made for a better read, I think.
It does. When you care.
Yeah, when you care. So I don't know, I enjoyed this one, and it's one that I still think about like months after I've read it. So I'm putting it in my top 3, because if I can still think about it, if I'm still thinking about it, then it's one that deserves to be in the top for me. So
well, and I think if you care, if the author can make you care, you can forgive a lot of stuff.
That is true. That is true. Because I don't disagree with what you said, for sure. Yeah. But I was able to definitely look past all of that and just been like, this book, you should read it.
I will say, the part where the hypo was coming up on him, driving, that one, that got me a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was about it, though.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And it reminded me, too, of, like serial killers. Like, all the serial killer stories and all of that. And, of course, I love serial killers. Yeah. So, that was another thing. It just, like, went right into my interest with it. So.
Yeah. So, this one was higher for me. And I don't, again, disagree with what you said. There really are not campy vibes to this. But I honestly have to say, there are not setting vibes in any of them for me. Like, a lot of these books are set in other time periods. Like, there's one in the 80s. There's one in the 90s. Yeah, right? I know. The only one left is like in the 80s, supposedly. So, yeah, exactly. Right? So that's what I'm saying. There's no, other than a kind of suspense atmosphere, which is there really is no atmosphere to any of them, really. Even in my favorites, I wouldn't say there's much of an atmosphere to them. So that didn't really bother me so much. I do remember wondering, it's like, she's at this camp to be a teacher. She never teaches any classes.
Yeah.
The whole time. And then there was a couple of the premises that I was like, like the whole thing with in the present day with the girls.
Oh, yeah.
I kept wanting to go, honey, you're a grown woman. You're a grown woman here. So, yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so this one could be higher for me, though, because it actually made sense. Although, I will say, the villain at the end, I keep doing this because, I don't know, whatever. But in this case, it really applies. The quote villain, it was pretty lame. That was pretty lame. And there was an enormous missed opportunity. Enormous missed opportunity here for the villain to have been someone else. So there was all of that stuff. But it made sense. It still made sense. The events made sense. The story didn't have to retrofit itself to have the end make sense.
That's fair. That's fair.
So that always puts something higher for me. Because I cannot stand it when a story gets to the end and all of a sudden they're referencing things that never happened in the beginning. Or something like, with The House Across the Lake, if the ending had been true, the characters would have acted very differently through the whole thing. So it's trying to retrofit itself to make it. And then it'll give stupid explanations as to why. This one had it. The reason she had to leave so quickly.
Yes.
That explanation came way too late for it to make any sort of sense at all. And so it really gives you the feeling that the author is trying. They try too hard. They're trying to keep it secret. They're trying to keep you in the dark to the point where they're not making sense in their story. So this one did not do that. And while I do agree it was pretty slow and it was a little boring and kind of lame sometimes, it actually made sense. So that's why that one got a little higher for me.
Number 2.
We mostly agree.
Yeah. Well, this one also made a lot of sense.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
And a lot of the scenes that he wrote were very, very well done, I thought. And there were times where he even, like, got me, because I'm just thinking, like, oh, we're here, everything's fine. And then she's like, oh, no, we are not fine. We are not fine at all. And so I thought that was really well done. I also liked the whole, I don't know if it's, I like the secret of the Bartholomew. That came out. I thought that was really cool.
That got me.
Yeah.
That got me.
I told you it was.
Not where I was. Not where I was going with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I very much enjoyed that. I thought it was a really neat idea to throw in there because, yeah, it was definitely something you would not suspect. And it was not the secret I thought that would come out about the apartment building at all. And I really like how, you know, this is the stranger is coming into the apartment building that has this big reputation. Like, I like that.
Yeah,
like the outsider looking in on the whole thing. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I thought it was really well done, and yeah, easily in my top reads.
So this one, it made sense for the most part. I really liked the kind of teen scream feel of going to the cabin and having the party. I thought he did really well with that. It was the present day stuff I didn't like so much. Yeah. Again with the whole really troubled heroine. He has that kind of trope, you know, the damaged trope. But I think in this one, it went a little overboard with what she did.
Yeah.
Some of her actions, some of the things that she went along with. I think it was just a little too much because I was like, really? And another thing that is pretty much across the board with his main characters is they waffle a lot. There's a lot of thinking that goes on in these books. And so they'll be thinking along about, well, like in this case, oh, I shouldn't do that. I really shouldn't do that. I know better than to do that, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And in some of the others, it's like they'll lay out all the reasons why they believe something, and then all of a sudden on the very next page, it's like, but that can't be true. What? Why? You just
like, why not? It's literally
you
right
just
there.
went through the top 20 reasons why it is.
Yeah.
And then oh, but my gut tells me.
Yeah. There's one thing that's holding you back, and you have all these other things supported.
No, okay. Yeah. So there's that. But I think in this one it was a little bit of a drawback because it was like her behavior is weird and she was constantly thinking she shouldn't be doing this. But in the end, there was a bit of a twist in identities that I thought was pretty good, and it all made sense. I had a little quibble with the villain at the end, but whatever. But I thought that twist was good. As far as that red herring was, I thought that was really good. I liked the reason for that red herring. I thought was pretty good. And the actual villain, meh. But, you know, I thought the reason the villain was kind of dumb. But at least it made sense.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay, so.
Number 1. I just love this book a lot. I love stories about final girls. I don't know what it is, like Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, Final Girls Here by Riley Sager. Those are like two of probably my favorite books, like horror books, just because I just love the concept of final girls.
I think Stephen Graham Jones has a final girl book too.
Is it My Heart is a Chainsaw? Is it that one? Or is
no, there's one called Well, we'll look that later on. Okay.
But yeah, I really just enjoy stories like that just because it reminds me a lot of horror movies, which are some of my favorite to watch, and I thought this one did a really great job with the whole concept. Like you said, everything made sense. I did not call who the villain was going to be with this book, which is always like a top requirement for me when I read any type of horror thriller books. Like, I don't want to know who, I want to be blindsided. Okay, like to a certain extent. I wanted to make sense, like a sensible blindside. And this one was that for sure.
It was.
So I definitely enjoy that, and I like all of the flashbacks as well at the cabin. That gave me the like 80s horror movie vibes.
The teen scream.
I loved it so much. So yeah, definitely easy number one for me here.
Yep. So this one was my number one because I literally had no quibbles with it. I mean, it made sense. The villain at the end made the story supported every twist that there was. I did not see that twist. That one was not even on my radar. And I think it was good too because the people that actually ended up being, you had your suspicions about them all along. There was never anything, you didn't know who you could trust or who you couldn't trust, and you knew somebody was the villain, but you couldn't figure out who it was. So it all made sense. It was a good whodunit.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why I liked it best, because it was more mystery whodunit than thriller. Because I still wasn't thrilled, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's that suspense on the edge of my seat, oh my gosh, I can't watch kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was not that, but the mystery of it. And, you know, when she started feeling that things weren't quite right at the Bartholomew, you know, and the reasons that she was cut off from her support systems made sense. It wasn't just thrown in. You know, it was all very natural and organic, and I so appreciated that. This was also one of the least angsty heroines, so that made
definitely
made a big difference. And I think her reasons for wanting to figure out this mystery made perfect sense. Some of these others, not so much. Some of these others, they were like just, you wanted to tell them, but you just mind your own business.
Pretty much. They kind of were just doing it because they wanted to relive their Nancy Drew childhood fantasies or whatever.
I can't remember which one it was, but it was like almost like she came across as like she had a right to know these things.
That one.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was the only one left.
Yeah. And at the, you know, throughout the whole thing, she was an employee at this house. She had no right to anything.
No.
But she behaved like this was all her right to know these things.
Right.
And I'm like, sister, no.
Maybe you should just leave.
Yeah, right? So that's where I appreciated, like, her reasoning for getting in deeper made sense to me. And the reason that she took the job in the first place was so simple. And sometimes it's just the simplest things that make the best sense.
Yes.
And it was just so basic and simple. And I really liked that. And I think this was also the least angsty, dramatic writing of all of them, too.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with that.
So that was probably, I mean, it's still not a 5-star read, but you know, it was the best of the bunch.
Here's my final stack.
There you go. And this was my final. Oh. And that was my final. So, pretty different on a couple things, but
yeah, I mean,
not all of them.
Not all of them.
So
the one thing that we can definitely agree on is that this one should have just not been written.
And you know what's funny too? I assumed that was one of his earlier ones. Authors should get better.
Right.
But literally, like, our favorites were his older books.
Yeah, like his was, I think, Final Girls was one of his first ones, right?
It was the first one.
Was it the one? I think Final Girls was his first one.
I should list them in order in here. So publication order was Final Girls, The Last Time I Lied, Lock Every Door, Home Before Dark, Survive the Night,
It's in here.
and House Across the Lake. And then this one. He literally got worse as he went for me.
Yeah, I mean, that was, for the most part, fairly true for me as well, aside from a couple, but
Yeah.
I definitely did enjoy his earlier works a lot more, because I know that this one, House Across the Lake, and the only one left is two most recent, I could have been fine with not reading.
Mm-hmm. And then this one was the third back, and I didn't like it either. He literally got worse as he went along. His 3 oldest books were my top 3.
I wonder if there was just like so much pressure to put out another book, and everyone knows that he has like all these twists, and so then he's just like throwing everything
We have to go really twisty McTwisty.
Yeah, because now everyone knows that there's gonna be a twist, and I just can't have
but
one
they're
twist.
thrillers. There's gonna be a twist. It's like a genre thing.
Yeah, but his thing is like they're extreme twists.
I guess. Well, make a big twist. Don't make just like dozens of twists.
Ones that don't even make sense and aren't even whatever. I don't know.
So it's kind of a Riley Sager experiment as well, not just rating his books. So what do you think of Riley Sager?
Overall,
yeah,
I like Riley Sager. I do. I think his writing is really easy to read. All of his books, for the most part, they are usually fast reads for me. He has short chapters, so that's always ideal. Yeah, I like him. Like, overall, I'd say I like him. I'm gonna read more from him, probably. I'll give him another chance on his new ones and see if they keep getting worse or better or what, but I'm definitely not gonna swear off him, for sure. So.
I'm done.
You're done? I'm definitely done for a while. This was a lot, and I honestly think, had we not read all of these in 1 month back to back, it would have been a different experience for both of us.
I agree.
I think this was a lot. Like,
it definitely was a lot. And I think the things that he is weakest on just get compounded if you binge read.
Yeah.
And maybe they could be a little more forgivable. I just think, for me, I don't think I'm a thriller girl. The thrillers,
I don't think you are either.
Yeah, the thrillers that I have read, they just don't thrill me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make me nervous. They don't make me anxious. Maybe to a certain point. And the thing is, with thrillers, you know there's going to be a twist. So when it happens, it's like, it better be a good twist. Because just the fact that there is a twist is not enough. And really, there's only so much you can do with that.
Right.
And so I think he's compensating nowadays for that problem by just making like hundreds of twists.
Yeah.
And it's just not cool. And I just don't like it, because it also seems like a trope of the genre is the troubled, unstable main character.
Yeah, and it's always
don't like
a female character too. It's like, the poor girl who just can't seem to get her life together and has to deal, like, it's just kind of like, as a woman reading this book, I don't appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and there's a couple of times where he makes it very obvious that he is a man writing about women. Because I think for the most part, he writes female characters pretty good. I mean, he obviously does a good job because they're believable main characters.
Yes.
As women. But every once in a while, he'll throw this in. He did it in The House Across the Lake. That's the last one I read, so it's fresh in my mind. Where it's this monologue on being a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think he throws them in there to go, look, I write women! I get women! And it's like, dude, we don't go around thinking about those things out loud and like telling people, you know, it's like, no, you don't. Just, you know, when you have your female character monologuing on what it's like to be a woman, it's like, dude, stop.
Yes.
We know what you're doing, okay? Just don't. I always go back to, if you have to tell somebody you're cool, you're not cool.
Right.
So just don't. Just don't. For the most part, I think your characters are pretty good. They don't act the way they should, but for character development, it's not bad.
Yeah.
You don't have to go around telling, making sure people understand that your women characters understand what it's like to be a woman. So there's that. The writing, I just think if that's a thing about the thriller genre, it's just not for me. It's just not. I don't think I have read the best of the genre though.
No.
And so I would like to look up and see like who is like the cornerstone of the genre. Kind of like Tolkien is the cornerstone of the fantasy genre.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's the cornerstone of the thriller genre? And then I want to read that and see if it's, you know, something that I would like. I have a feeling it's just not for me. I like a mystery. I like a murder mystery. Those are fun. But I just don't think a thriller is just... So I just like a good, competent person who is smart and intelligent, makes good choices, and uses their abilities to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like... When you have an unstable character, it just feels like the story happens to them.
Right.
Or if they have any agency and they're moving the story, it's doing it so because they're making these horrible decisions. And I just don't like to read about that. So I'm thinking, no. I think the only thing I didn't talk about is he has such good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Not always well executed.
No, his plotting is not good. As far as, you know, a really good mystery is like when the seeds are there through the whole thing. And so when you get to the end, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
And he just doesn't do that very well. Sometimes he does, but not very often.
Yeah. Not so much anymore for sure.
No. No. So no, I don't think I enjoy them enough. Maybe, again, if it had been one, but I think that many just burnt me right on out from him. And also, looking at it that his early books were my favorites, and they just got worse as they went along, I'm really not sure I trust him anymore.
Right. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But, I mean, they're not bad books. If you are someone who likes thrillers, I would definitely check them out. For sure. Because, yeah, some of them really are good.
Mm-hmm.
And for what they are. And I do try and be objective. When it's something I don't care for, I try and look at things like plotting and things like character development, not necessarily whether I personally liked the book. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend them.
Yeah.
Some of them more than others, but yeah, I would. Mm-hmm. For sure. There's our experiment. I am so glad that's over.
I think we both are so glad that's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it with another author, but just maybe not so many books.
Yeah, like...
And I'm not doing Colleen Hoover, so just don't even.
I wasn't going to suggest that again. Besides, she has so many books. That would be like a year-long experiment.
I just can't subject myself to it. Now their battery's dying.
That's fair. But, alright, well, before our battery dies, and since we don't have anything else left to say about O'Reilly Sager over here, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let us know in the comments if you agree with our rankings, disagree with our rankings, whatever. Let us know.
And who do you think is a good thriller author?
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be great to know.
Yeah, any recs are always welcome here.
Check us out.
Yeah.
Check out the rest of the channel. Get more great book content.
Yep.
And if there's something that you would like to see us do, like more of this kind of thing or other review kind of things, let us know. We'd like to We'd like to know. We're here to serve you.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I'm Amy.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are
the Everyday Epic.
See y'all in the next one.
Bye.